everyone, welcome back to yet another episode of Too Opinionated.
This is Nav.
And this is Bhumika, and today we are serving you tea that's apparently piping hot.
So I have a question for you.
Hmm.
Would I be the asshole if I asked love of my life to be my mistress? Not my wife, my mistress.
Yes, a big one.
Yes, right. That was my answer too. Well, for everyone listening, if they haven't figured out by now, we are talking about the newest bachelor in the town.
Oldest, I would say.
Oldest, the second son, famous rake,
Benedict Bridgerton.
Bridgerton.
And for anyone who has not watched the season yet, or part one of the season, there are going to be spoilers. So please,
Full of spoilers for past episodes, the coming books,
yes.
everything. It is spoilers.
So
So,
that's our disclaimer. Now listen
yes.
at your own risk.
Yes. Also, if you're listening and you have kids around, you might want to plug in your headphones.
I
I think
agree.
that's a safe disclaimer in how many gardens were in the plume.
I just love the mothering, okay?
She was wondering what we have to wait.
That's the most exciting part of the season for me. No wonder she has so many kids, okay?
Is that the most exciting part for you because you see yourself as a mother? Is that it? Is that the
No.
correlation? I have a question. Who would you relate to the most in Bridgerton?
I never thought of that. I genuinely never thought because interestingly enough, there are certain characteristics of every character where I can go like, oh, that. But I cannot relate to someone full-fledged character persona and I'm like, oh, that's me.
I feel like you might relate to a Penelope in a way that you both are into writing a lot. I also feel like you're very observant, and she is very observant, and I can totally see you withering away because of a guy you like.
Excuse me?
Excused?
But there is another reason I think I can relate with Penelope. So there is this joke at my work that I always have tea to serve because thankfully I'm very rarely involved in drama, but I get all the tea. So I feel that's also another way I can relate to Penelope. Now that you have put it in my mind, that I always have tea to serve.
Yes, it's giving Mrs. Whistledown.
Yeah, you can say that. Letters by Bhumika can be a narrative of Mrs. Whistledown.
Okay, I gave your answer. You gotta give me my answer. I don't know who I would relate.
I think I see a lot of LOS in you. I see her in you because you are not scared of sharing your opinions, just like she is not in a lot of moments in the show. I do feel she is a very opinionated woman.
She definitely is very opinionated.
And there might be sometimes she does not get to express them wholeheartedly, but wherever she can, she does that. So that's why I see a lot of you in her. Also, there was this scene in the most recent season where she's out and about in the society to support her brother Benedict, and then there comes a guy and he holds her hand and tries to introduce, and she makes a very funny face.
You.
I can see that in you because I have seen when all the men who have fallen in love with you and come to your.
All the men who have fallen in love with me. Can we not put this?
It's true, okay? They
I
have
am
come.
not the rake here in this
No, I'm not
episode.
saying fake, but they have come to your fort and castle and you have just made that face at them from your window, okay? So I see that part of LOS in you. But okay, if you don't like my answer, who do you relate to the most?
I know, I think I kind of agree with your answer. The only part where I don't relate with her is like she's very younger sibling coded because she does have lots of older siblings who love her and adore her, which I don't relate with at all. But I don't think so we can relate to one person a lot because of different time periods, different personality. Also, they are fictional characters. You know who I would wanna be the most though?
Can I take a guess?
Okay, take a guess.
Kate Sharma.
I can see why would you say that, but Daphne, because you know
Oh my god. Oh my god.
why? I mean, have you looked at the dude?
Okay, sure. I don't even know what to say. I'm telling you, this is the most unserious episode. For anyone who is listening to us, please remember we talk about serious stuff as well,
I
okay?
mean, we be fun. Who would you wanna be?
Kate Sharma. Every time I pass by, I want my man to be sniffing around for me, okay?
In that looks only fun in fiction.
I'll be fine with it. I'll handle it.
Okay, you were just like going on about my answer as if yours any better. Like we have all seen that lake scene and we know why you wanna be Kate, okay? Like you are any better.
I never said I'm any better, okay? Do you know how much sadness I feel when I know Mr. Anthony Bridgerton does not?
Anthony Bridgerton swings this way. It's just the actor.
I mean, the actor doesn't swing our way. How much of a loss it is for womankind, do you know?
I guess it's okay. You know what? Who else I would wanna be? A controversial opinion.
Who?
The Queen. Just for the drama, I would fit perfectly in the chaos. I don't like the personal life, but I would relish in the drama.
I don't want you to be the queen because there is just so much tragedy in there for that character. And I know Bridgerton is a fantasy land, a universe that has been created by the writer and now the showmakers. But I don't like the fact that they gave such a tragic life to the queen because they have given a better character to the queen as compared to the one she represents. And I would have loved to see having her a fulfilling personal life because just imagine the queen has an absolutely phenomenal personal life, husband who adores her, and along with that, she serves drama. Like the combination in my head is just exploding.
I get it, but for me at least, we have to acknowledge that even in fantasy, everything cannot be hunky dory and rainbows and clouds and flowers.
It is
So
fantasy, so give me the fantasy.
they have given you so many other fantasies. Also, you did bring up a lot, like point. I have seen the queen, the character is so complex, but sometimes I feel they made her invalid in a way. Like
True.
she's very uninterested in making decisions that would help her society and everything. She is shown as she has to be pushed to uplift her people. Like Lady Danbury has to be there to be the moral compass, which I know that's the characters, it's a fictional character and it's based on imperfect people. But I also feel if Lady Danbury would have been the queen, it's like I will watch all the Bridgertons, yes, but Lady Danbury in a lead role as a queen or as someone who's in charge, that is a show I will watch. I love my strong women characters.
I would love to watch that show too because the character of Lady Danbury is so nuanced and it is so layered. And I genuinely think she should have gotten more screen time because wherever she comes on the screen, it is phenomenal.
Her aura is absolutely phenomenal.
The way she talks, the way she dresses, the way she puts her point across, and the way she sniffs drama. Oh my god. Like,
Like nothing escapes her. You know what the funniest thing in the show for me was when Lady Danbury was telling Queen that she wants to take some time off
mhm.
and wants to go traveling and she wants to visit her motherland. She's been away since she was 4 years old, and it was such a heartbreaking story because you have seen her struggle. You have seen how much that lady has struggled with the husband, and she had to make her own legacy. She has to be like, now that my husband has passed, what happened to the title? Does it get passed on to my kids? She has to, at every point, stand up for herself and advocate for herself and others. Like she always have to pave the way. So when I heard her saying that she wants to go and explore and rest and relax, I was all like almost tearing up, and I was like, yeah, she deserves it. And I saw the glimpse of Queen, her expression. She understood the gravity of it, and then she just went, no, no. Just like, no. And I'm like, what do you mean no? And I remember I paused it and I called you and I'm like, what the fuck just happened? Like, they built it up, and the queen was like, I understand you have given up your entire life, but it's inconvenient to me. So, no.
It was a very dual scene. On one side, they show how deep it is for Lady Danbury to go and finally visit her motherland. But it also showed how much loneliness the queen is tackling with. And she, after all, is a human being and she's scared to lose one important person in her life who makes sense of everything for her. It's gonna be very sappy, but I actually relate to the queen, okay? And the reason I relate to the queen is because That was me when you left for India last year. How is it any different when you were like, oh, I need to go back home, I need to visit my motherland, I need to take care of things? And I was like, why?
I'm not even gonna talk about our situation here. Moving on, you have to acknowledge how multifaceted that conversation was, because yes, they are friends, but Lady Denbury is also her subject. That is the power imbalance in that friendship. And I know in the like later episodes when they made up and the queen was like, I'm sorry, and I don't think so she would have said sorry to anyone in her entire life. Obviously they have like a very close and strong bond, but that doesn't remove the fact that their friendship still is unequal because she is her subject. And even in the end, if Lady Danbury has to give up her dreams to serve the queen, she'll make that decision, however sad, happy, but she will make that decision. And which is like, can their friendship really be of two equals?
I think they are going to give Lady Danbury a happy ending because in the later episodes, she introduces another lady in waiting to Queen and she's open to it. So I feel they are building up to the point where
Yeah, I also feel like they probably will get happy ending, but I don't want to have a season where she's not there.
you just talked about unequal friendships and now you don't want to
I
have.
said I'll be happily with the queen. What do you mean? I know my, like, I'm a very self-aware person, okay? I said that I happily be the queen.
Okay, enough about Lady Danbury and Queen. Who else stood out to you, or what else stood out to you?
The first thing that came up to my mind was Penelope and Colin in that, what do you call it?
Carriage?
Yes, that. Okay, do they have a KINK of doing it in there? Because they did it in their season. They did it again. Is it a KIN
I think it's their.
KINK?
Yes, but what is it called? I think they have patented it. That's how they come. Sorry.
That's indeed how they come.
Oh, bro, that's not what I meant. We can't put this. We can't put this.
No, it's funny, it's funny, it's funny.
That's how they arrive. Let me rephrase.
Indeed. So, what about you? What stood out to
The mother.
you?
I am obsessed with the mother because we have seen her doing so much for her kids from the first season, right? And she has been this portrayal of innocence, motherhood, and purity. They have not really shown her womanhood. It got introduced a bit in the last season, but I love and love how it is all unicorns and blooming gardens this season, okay? I love that for her. And the moment she said, I am the tea you are having. I was literally giggling with my legs up in the air. I'm like, go, woman, get it. You need it. You need it. You want it. Go get it. I was genuinely so happy for the character because I felt sad for her in the initial.
Mm,
There was an unsaid loneliness that we could see for her character with her husband Edmund not being there and her solely taking care of her kids and doing an absolutely amazing job at it. So, her getting what she deserves just made me so happy. And it also spoke to me in a way that a woman recognizing her womanhood and recognizing her needs is the sexiest thing on this planet because she looked like a diva in that scene. Didn't matter what her age is, didn't matter if her body is like of a young woman, it did not matter at all. She exuded sexiness and power, and that's the scene that stood out.
I agree. It was an amazing scene.
The tea was so hot that I would burn my tongue with it, but I would still drink it.
What I liked most about her storyline this season was she had epic love. But this season also, they gave her romance. They could have easily given her just sex. And I think most of the viewers would have been kind of okay with that because she could totally have just the attraction part, but they gave her that little touching. They were trying and not doing it, and then the whole frustration and whole like, oh, does he like me, would he like me? They gave her romance, and which was very nice for me. I also liked the conversation they had. She went to him and was like, you know what, we are old enough. Can we just talk about, like, I loved that they had that communication because she didn't go into something having anything on her mind. She was confident. She didn't push herself into something. Like, I loved the fact that this was perfect for her. As a viewer, I think it was worth the wait. And I don't know where this would end up, like if this is gonna be a thing, but I would totally be okay if, oh, they don't get married and live happily ever after. I'd totally be fine if that doesn't happen, because this was meant for her to acknowledge that yes, she has desires, she is a woman, and being a mother, being a wife, or being a grandma doesn't take away from that. She still have desires and she still can have desires. I think this guy was important for her to acknowledge that.
I agree. I think they did her good. They did her really good. And I'm
You
genuinely
know, I know they did her good because when the look on her face, when the pants dropped, the look on her face, and I know they did her good.
I don't even know what to say. I genuinely don't know what to say. This is becoming very PG-13, not appropriate, okay?
We said in the beginning, do not listen around kids. Okay, another thing we have to acknowledge. I don't know if it is me being in India experiencing this for the first time, that when you're around family you gotta skip those scenes, or were there genuinely too many sex scenes in this season?
I didn't skip any.
Obviously you live by yourself. I skipped a lot. And I was like, is this usually how Bridgerton go? Is it usually what 1 to 3 seasons were? Or it's just like I am home with my mother around?
I think this one actually had comparatively less of that content as compared to the first few seasons. Because one of the main love stories of the season is still gonna fully develop in the second part.
I mean, for people whose story hasn't developed, they have developed a lot of things together. Okay, kiss number one, kiss number two, kiss number three. And I'm not even counting other things.
Yes,
My frustration. Okay, we are not yet on our couple, so I'll hold my thoughts. Go on.
I was just gonna. The quantity of spicy stuff was less, but the quality was top notch.
Mm-hmm.
And I am very excited.
No pointers, no pointers.
No pointers. I enjoy all the scenes.
I would like to have it on record that I indeed skipped all of them.
How can we believe you?
You just gotta take my word for it.
I'm not gonna. Anyway, let's talk about our not so happy couple.
Oh, okay. First, I want to talk about the story. I knew going into the show that it was a trope. I also knew it was gonna be full of cliches. But then again, cliches are cliches for a reason because we all love them. I knew that I would eat anything Shonda serves. Anything. I'm an avid reader of romance. Like, I love reading romance. And for a longest time have only read romance. I was still surprised how well they managed to do the story. I still had that sense of surprise when I was watching the story unfold. This was the tropiest season I ever watched because they had Cinderella, mean stepsisters and stepmother. They also had our hero get injured, alone in the rain and the cottage. You have to be like forced proximity. The only thing they didn't do yet is like there was only one bed. But again, this was the tropiest of all the tropes. She's working in his house. Talk about how many tropes one person can fit into the story. But I was still eating it up because it was so well done. The story was so well done. I knew what was coming, but I was still very surprised when it happened. The way it happened. When the moments came, when they're doing something or how close they got, it was very nicely done. I do love that part of it. However, I am hating Mr. Bridgerton, the second son, because how you're making her portrait, you're fantasizing about her, you're remembering her. She's been there in front of you. What do you mean you haven't seen her smiling? And also, if you haven't seen her smiling, that is also your fault. Like, how can he not recognize her? I know it's a story, I know it's fiction, but for me, it doesn't make any sense. Like, he's making portraits of her lips, having flashbacks to her lips. I know at one point it's been a while and then he might have forgotten. He also said that I'm starting to forget her voice. I'm starting to forget her smile. Like, all those things. Like, I acknowledge that. But still, how could you? She's right there and he's not recognizing her. That's a little annoying for me.
Okay, that's a lot to unpack. Surprisingly, I did not find it as interesting as you did. For me, stories in the season were more interesting than the main storyline. I felt the main storyline was too stretched, was too unreal. I know it's a fantasy land, I know it's all fiction, I know it's all a story, but there has to be semblance of a little bit of reality into it. And after a point, the
You
mystery.
think, okay, you think marrying your sister's betrothed was real?
Let's not get into that. But what I am trying to say is, it felt stretched for me, and the stretch was not entertaining. I enjoyed other characters more, like the scene with Francesca and her husband, where he goes and tells her, "We are fine as it is, and you are enough as it is. If it gets better from here, that's amazing, but we are good in this moment." I loved that scene. I loved how he reassured her their relationship is in a good standing, how he helped her feel grounded. I loved that more. There was more entertainment in that for me. Like Francesca going around and asking, "Have you ever had a pinnacle and what's that?" That was more interesting than Benedict trying to paint Sophie. It was just not giving for me. It was not. Like the main storyline was not as entertaining for me. It was also not as spicy for me for some reason. I enjoyed Penelope's and Colin's shorts more. I enjoyed the mother story more. And that is just my opinion. Also, because I'm a fan of season 2, I saw a reel saying that if it would be Anthony, when Sophie would just pass by, he would sniff and know it's Sophie. Like, "My brother Bridgerton, second, what are you doing? Where are your jeans? Why are you not putting them to any use? Like, what is happening right now?"
That is so funny. People are so innovative.
I really hope Anthony shows up and he gives his brother a good beating and puts some sense into him. Like, what do you mean?
You you're gonna have your wish because in the books, Anthony is Sophie's like biggest supporter. He loves Sophie. So he is gonna knock some sense into him for sure. Okay, to address your point of like it felt like it, I think it's very important too because how complex the characters are, our female lead, Sophia. If you see in flashbacks, she was raised as a lady. Even at her father's funeral, when the stepmother says that, "Oh, you're gonna be a maid," and she's like, "But I am a nobleman's daughter." She knows that this is beneath me. She have always grown up with the fact that she is part of the society. She deserves to be here. That scene when they're dancing and she steps on her shoe and she immediately bend and try to clean it. From that mentality to going to that point where you feel if there is even a dust, like your own gloves, like she was wearing expensive dress and gloves, but she was still in the state of being a maid. For a person to go from saying, "I'm a nobleman's daughter, this is beneath me," to actually being in the mentality that they cannot get out of, she is a maid and like this is what she deserves. It was gonna take a lot for her to just acknowledge that yes, she can demand for something more, that she is valued more. I do feel that's one of the reasons that it might just be a little bit dragged because in the Cinderella story also, the thing I don't like about that story is she left the shoe, Prince found her because she left the shoe, and that was it. They had lived happily ever after. There was no, do I know this person? Do I want to be with this person? Just because you found them attractive doesn't mean that you'll spend your entire life with them. So that part of the story is unrealistic for me. So in this way, when they're actually spending, like if you would have just found her, I know I just said like 5 minutes ago that I don't like that he's not finding her, but if he would have found her, I wouldn't have liked that because he doesn't know her. So I much rather he choose maid Sophia than the lady in silver, if that makes sense. And I like my men growling, okay? I like my men yearning. I like my men stupidly in love. So, like for me, it's okay. I have no hope of finding her, and then he's like, "No, I'm gonna find her." It's a bit undecisive, but I feel like he's getting there. The point where he's like, just gonna be like, "You know what? I love this woman. Do I not love this woman?" I want him to give up on Lady in Silver first, and then I want him to yearn for Sophie, and then I want him to yearn some more, and then some more, and then some more. And then she's like, "Okay, fine. I'll have your hand."
I hear and understand all of that, but whatever you said, I didn't see that in the season. Let me explain, okay? So, how you precisely pointed out that the female lead's character is really complex. She comes from a lot of upheavals and backstory in the life. But what I don't like is that even though she has so much to offer and her character has so many layers, somehow the focus was more on the man of the show. The screen time given to that growth was very less, at least in part one. I don't know what's coming for part two. So, everything that you said, I completely agree with it, but I did not see that on the screen. The focus felt more on Benedict, who has been the same since season 1, right? How do we expect him to suddenly become better in few episodes? But Sophie's character was newly introduced to something and the concept of deserving better. I would have loved if she would have more focus, more screen time, and more character development on the screen and not just in our thoughts.
I agree. I think they both deserved. He deserved a little more material to go on.
Mm-hmm.
Like, he had very less material. He was like, yes, do I want to look? Do I not want to look? Like, I would have liked to give him some more substance and definitely give her more screen time because she is so damn pretty. And also, her acting is amazing. Love that character so much. She seems very complex and also much more complex than everyone else.
Yes. And not to be a hater, Benedict does not give main character vibes. He's a great side character.
No, I would have to disagree. As you said, for 3 seasons, he has been this good for nothing rake, basically, right? How are they supposed to just magically transform him into someone he's not? It's gonna take a while. And so far, he has had collectively 40 minutes on screen so far. Again, I don't trust anyone else, but I do trust Shonda. So, my faith is in the mother, okay?
I get it. And you are right. He has not gotten enough to prove himself yet. And maybe this is the way the story has been um, created.
Also, sorry to interrupt, his character wants to be an artist, but he's also in a society where he lacks for nothing, he desires for nothing. Everything he wants is readily available for him. Everyone's ready to please him. No one has shown him a mirror of reality. For him, the most challenge was, does he accept the reality that he is in love with someone who is made? Or does he just keep living in a fantasy that is Lady in Silver? Because Lady in Silver is a fantasy. I know she's Sophie, but in reality she's not a lady. She doesn't come from nobility. She is not of his standard. So in that way, I think the challenge for him is not just which girl to choose, it's also like which path to choose. So I think that is also not translated so well on screen as of yet.
This is what I was trying to say. You made my point very well for me. Everything that we are discussing is our interpretation of the characters and the storylines. This was not on the screen. And I know part 2 is coming, but how much would they just magically do in part 2? Because even if they now do it in part 2, it would feel rushed for me because part 1 lacked that substance. For example, I know I'm biased towards season 2. You are the bane of my existence. You are the object of all my desires. But that biasness aside, character of Anthony has so many flaws as well. He also was with someone who was not of nobility and he was not ready to accept her. There was so much with his character as well. And then he was going to marry the sister first. Like, what did not happen in that season? But everything that we wanted to see grow in the characters was shown and it did not felt dragged. We did not have to come up with explanations for the character. We did not have to defend the characters and we did not have to make excuses for the characters. I don't know if this is intentional. It very well could be intentional and a marketing strategy. But in season 4, there is a lot of defending happening. We are defending and protecting the characters. We are making excuses. We are making explanations. We are the viewers. We can interpret some things, but we shouldn't have to go and justify everything a character is doing. That's the responsibility of showmaker. And that's why I was trying to say initially that it feels the main character, the actor, is not able to give everything he probably can offer because the way he's being utilized is not good enough.
Okay, firstly, in Mother Shonda we trust. Okay. Second, I agree. Even to myself, I have a lot of context from the books, which is also translating into me watching this show and coming to my conclusions. But also consider this, for Anthony and for Duke, they had their own reasonings for why they were, however they were. For Anthony not wanting to love, he saw how his mother and father were deeply in love and he saw what happened after one of them was gone and he didn't want that for himself. He had a reasonable explanation. The Duke, my man. Also had a reasonable explanation of why he did not wanted to marry and wanted to have kids. But now coming to Benedict, he doesn't have any reason to why he is the way he is, which also fits his character because he is a second son of a very wealthy family. He is not the heir, he has zero responsibility, and he has all the money in the world. But he also do not have the freedom Colin has, because Colin is the third son. He's not the spare. Benedict is the spare. So basically, Benedict needs to know everything Anthony knows, but he will never be Anthony. So it's just like his life is in a limbo. He's a spare. That's what he is. He is a spare. So his character, he has no motivations. That's his character. I know it's not translating super well on the screen.
You keep on making my points, and I am just loving that because I don't have to do as much work. But this is what exactly I was trying to say. As viewers, we have to explain the backstory of the character Benedict. I did not feel that we had to do that in the previous seasons. And for the first half, things might magically get better in the second half. But for the first half, I feel there is a lot of explanation and interpretation and so much happening to defend the character of Benedict, which I feel is very unfair. It shouldn't be like that because, with all the reasons that you just explained, they are the reasons that add nuance to his character, which is not being portrayed well, at least as of now. That's how I feel.
But I do feel like that some of these context clues are there from the beginning of the show. We have seen how everything is. Like these, it's not like this season is his. Like he has been present, since season 1. So like there are context clues.
Again, it's not about the context or clues. What I am trying to say is that even with all the knowledge that we have about his character, from all the seasons, from book, from internet world, and everything, have you thought why still there is so much justification happening for him?
Okay, one thing I think we are not connecting on this is because I watched the episodes today. I have not been on internet looking for Bridgerton stuff because I didn't want it spoilers. I don't know what's happening out there.
Even before I went on to internet, I had these same feelings the moment I finished the season.
No, I mean like with whole defending and everything, is that happening online?
There's a lot of defending happening. So, not to say that I'm right or wrong in this, but there are a lot of voices out there who kind of feel the same way that I feel about the show. The actors are brilliant, everyone has done an amazing job. But the way the storyline has been portrayed is not doing good to either the male or the female lead. This season is for side characters. I don't know what part 2 has to offer, but in part 1, I was more interested in the lives of everyone else rather than the main leads. Even though I knew the main leads have so much depth and nuances to their characters, it never came across like that. I had to go and dig into internet or books and whatnot to understand that, okay, why? Or I had to go and look into the previous seasons and understand why. It should not be like that. And especially Benedict, even with all the flaws that he comes, even with all the rakeness that he comes, the character has a lot of substance to offer, but that substance was missing. The first part did not do it for me when it comes to the main leads. It was an amazing, but for the sidelines.
I agree. They definitely deserve some more screen time. They are the main characters this season. With that,
let's talk about staircase.
Staircase. Yeah. I had to skip that scene. I was having dinner and me and my mom were sitting on the dining table and there were noises and I'm like, oh, fast forward. Let's fast forward this. So I unfortunately haven't seen that scene yet.
But do you know the question that Mr. Benedict pops after that scene?
Yes, I know because it's also in the books. This is the main contention for them because her mother was a mistress. She had the life she has because her mother was a mistress. She doesn't want to repeat the same mistakes. So obviously, she's not going to accept that. But how can you kiss someone? Tell them, what he told her. Also, I would have to agree, not as remarkable as the pain of my existence. But coming back to, like, that was an insane shit to do. What are you thinking, my man? Why would you say that? Don't even say anything. Don't propose to her. If you're not gonna ask, would you be my wife? Don't ask her. She just told you that this is the best job she has had. She likes this place. She wants to be here. Also, unrelated, I loved it when she kicked him out of his own house. She was like, you're making my life difficult here. Get out. Live in your bachelor pad. I loved that. But yeah, she just told you that she doesn't want to leave this. She feels safe here. She loves it here. she's getting along with everyone, and he comes and be like, be my mistress.
I hated that scene for the sheer injustice of Benedict's intellect.
I don't think so. He's thinking with his brain at that moment. Like, we can clearly see where he is thinking from. It's not the brain.
Let me elaborate, please. As for the context of his character, we have time and again seen that this man questions the norms, if at least not break them, asks for the reasoning behind everything. That has been the storyline. Then they show a scene where he goes to a bar or pub and someone tells him that, yeah, in this society, if you love someone, they become your mistress because how can they be your wife? And this stupid idiot goes and believes that instead of questioning and challenging that, which is what he has done consistently in all three seasons. So, why would you do that to him? One thing that I really liked is that he brings a lot of challenging to the norms. And when it was time to do the biggest challenge, this guy goes and he's like, be my mistress. No,
You're putting me in a position where I have to defend a man. But okay, fine.
I am not talking about the man. I am against the showmakers here, the writer here, that why so much injustice to a
No,
character?
I'm gonna defend the man. I'm gonna defend the man. Okay, even in this society, you would have to go against your entire family to do that. And we will see in the season 2, like part 2, that he would have to do that too. So you are going against everyone. You're breaking their relationships. It's also a burden on you as a person. Like, you have to take care of them. You have to make them feel that I am okay to leave everything for you and I will not blame you. So
Mm-hmm.
lots of emotional burden on you. And fourth, the financial burden of it all. I know he's rich, but we are all forgetting that the money belongs to his brother. He has an allowance. So if he's saying that, okay, I'm gonna stand up against everyone, he's not gonna have his family's backing. He's not gonna have any status in the society to protect her or him or the kids they have. He's not gonna have anything. He's a normal person. If like you come to me and be like, I love this guy, but he's my house help, I'm also gonna say, are you freaking out of your mind for the same reasons? Like, I'm talking about the real world right now. Let's forget Bridgerton for a while. How would that even work?
Okay. You cannot project an argument about a fantasy world comparing it to the real world. No.
Okay, as we said, it's already tropey enough. We have to be somewhat realistic here.
I said,
As a writer yourself, you would have your characters do pretty much the same shit.
if it is my storyline, if I am the writer, I would never make him ask, be my mistress. I would never ever do that.
I think you might not be into slow burns. Also, misunderstanding is a trope. Also, there's so many other things. I am saying this show is tropey. I'm not with him on the mistress part, but I'm just saying that it's not realistic.
It's not realistic for him to do any of that. But would you agree it's realistic for him to figure out a different way to see if this can work?
Obviously,
That's what I was trying to say. That
yeah.
this guy has time and again challenged the norms, challenged the society, and figured out a way to live the life he wants
But
to live.
let's be honest, he has not really challenged any norms. I know he goes around kissing men. I know that. But that's not really challenging any norms. This guy has one personality and it is like indulging himself. That's all he does. He doesn't challenge norms. The guy left his sister alone with lots of men just so he can go look for a girl.
It's like you are so passionate about Shauna that you would not let my point get across to you.
Okay, how has he challenged shit? Tell me.
Challenged in a way that his character is not written like Anthony, Colin, or other Bridgerton men. It's entirely different from everyone else in the show. That in itself is the challenge to the whole setup that they have made, at least in my head. Not that he successfully goes and builds a different life altogether, no. But he is an outlier.
Like how? Tell me how.
He's an outlier in the way that he does not take the responsibility that he should be taking as a second child. He's irresponsible in that way.
That's the whole point. He has no responsibilities.
You just said the point few minutes ago that he's supposed to be the second son.
Yeah, he's supposed to know everything, but he's not supposed to do anything.
But we have seen in the show that he does not even know it properly. And the times that Anthony is absent and he's supposed to sign on some papers, there is a scene where he goes like, yeah, yeah, sure, sure. That kind of
So
thing.
how does that makes him good? He's not a good character. Okay, I think we're not gonna agree
Now,
on this.
let me put my point because you keep on not letting me complete my point. And that's why it's not getting across. His entire character and plot until now, starting from season 1, in my eyes, has been a person who is not fitting in a box that is designed for him. And it is because he's, first of all, not liking it. Second of all, he does not have the responsibility to really fit into it, because even if it doesn't, the show is still gonna go on. And along with that, he does have small portion of doing something different, which he has obviously successfully not done. We have seen in the show his mother says that you cannot not stick to something. You have to sometimes stick to something. You owe it to yourself. So his character is an outlier for me because he is not something that society expects him to be, but he's also not something that he could be. He is nothing. But even with all of that, there have been a few times in the entire series, not just season 4, where this guy has asked why a few times. What he has done with that why after it doesn't matter, but he has asked the why. So when it comes to this season and he goes and says, "Be my mistress," where did the why go? You could just question this whole thing. Don't do anything with it. At least question it, look into it, think about it like you have previously minutely done, and then go be stupid again. So when I say that I feel they did injustice to his intellect, this is what I mean. That they even took away the why from him, which there has been previously.
I guess it makes sense because I think when you said that he has some sort of substance, I meant you were saying in a positive way.
No,
Because I was like, where did you read it? The guy does nothing.
is my hate not apparent enough? Am I not
No,
the
it wasn't. I thought you were saying that, oh, this man has some substance. And I was like, where?
am I not doing a good job? How much I hate this character.
You know what? I think we agree with that Sophia is totally too good for him. But also, this is not the conversation we are having today, but one day we have to sit and evaluate why do even in fiction men need women to improve them. I think this is why Sophia's character is so complex because she'll give him something to think. She'll challenge him. That's why they would make a good couple because he's pretty much good for nothing and she speaks 3 languages. She knows everything. She has survived in this cruel world. I think they'll balance each other out. Like she doesn't know how to be in leisure and leisure is all he knows. So I think that is the gonna be the dynamics here and it'll be fun to see what season 4's part 2 holds.
What do you think is gonna happen? Like, we all know what's gonna happen.
We all know they're gonna get together. But I think it would be interesting question to see what happens with other characters. Speaking of other characters first, Mr. Third Son, Colin Bridgerton.
Mhm.
I'm just gonna say him Mr. Whistledown because that is all he is right now. Mr. Whistledown. He married into money and all he does is go spend it. I have only heard 2 things about him in the season. First, he's out with friends, and second, he's doing stuff with his wife. That's his life. He married into money. He was born into money. He's good. His son has a title. He traveled the entire world. And he married someone who is so in love with him. I mean, that guy is the one who lucked out in that family.
I don't know what else they could show him for. What else could he do? He's the third son. Zero responsibility, loving wife, good sex life. What else?
He's not even a spare. What else is he supposed to do? But I do love that he totally lets Penelope takes the lead because he's smart enough to do that. He's smart enough to not get into his own way.
And I love that for them. And I feel as we move forward in the seasons, I feel Colin's character is going to be a very supportive husband character, which we all love to see because we love our fictional men for a reason, and this is the reason, right? So I don't expect much out of Colin's character other than being a supportive person to Penelope because she is the main person in this relationship. You know how we talk about sun and the moon? She is the sun in this relationship, and the moon
Mhm.
has just to support her.
I do think that Penelope needs to take a stand against the queen, and I really hope she does in part 2
Well,
because she is not this person who she's becoming. And I know she's now Mrs. Bridgerton, and that's the queen. Like, socially, she cannot, but I think Whistledown needs to take a stand because it's not as interesting anymore.
I think she will, because the way they are developing the character and the way they have shown the scenes where she feels very suffocated and obligated to do what the queen wants, I think she's going to.
I also fear that we definitely know that Whistledown is gonna lose the bet. I fear that they might be putting an end to Whistledown because they could be like, oh, Whistledown lost a wager, the queen won, and the queen is finally happy, and Penelope's like, oh, I just want to enjoy my life with my husband and my kids, and she takes a bow. If that happens, it's not gonna change the storylines a lot because at this point, so far, Whistledown hasn't done shit.
Mhm.
Like that's my one of my predictions that Whistledown is gonna be at the end because there's nothing more she can add to. Everyone know who she is. She's not invisible anymore.
And it goes really well with what has happened in previous seasons. We saw that Anthony and Kate were the main lead. In season 3, they were there a little bit. And then in season 4, we don't even know if they are making an appearance. We hope they do because we love them, but we don't
Oh,
know.
they are here. I saw it in the trailer. They have in the show, plus their kid is also in the show, so
That's
we will see them. Yeah.
amazing. But we see, right, from the main season, the appearance goes down in the next season and then barely there in the season after that. For Penelope, this is the second season, so the appearance is there. And if your point is proven to be true, in the next season, it probably is gonna be like Anthony and Kate in this season, which makes sense.
Makes sense. Also, to be very honest, I wouldn't be so disappointed if Whistledown is gone because now she cannot post freely. She has social obligations. She can't post anything about Bridgertons now.
Mhm.
That's where the drama was coming from. She can't say anything bad about them. She can't say anything bad about anyone else because now they know she's related to Bridgertons. So, like, it doesn't make any sense for Whistledown to continuing on. That is one of my predictions.
What do you think is going to happen with the mother? Because I'm obsessed with her storyline.
Okay, my prediction for her would be like she enjoys the casual encounters. She'll continue with that. I do feel like at some point someone in the family might know. It might be Kate or it might be Eloise. Someone probably will see them. But I do feel like that's not gonna go anywhere. I think that's just gonna be pure sex. I do have that feeling. What
I,
about you? What do you think?
I'm honestly 50-50. I feel they might give her this as her permanent storyline, or it could be this could be her first step back into the game. And this is her first rodeo in a way.
You know what I would genuinely love? So, in that period when the sons get married, like now Anthony is married, Kate should be the one handling the house and the mother should be living not in that same house. That being said, I know Lady Danbury wants to go travel. I would love for both of them to just like go and take on the world. And I would totally watch a show if it is Lady Danbury and like Lady Bridgerton traveling around and maybe having flings everywhere. I will love to see that show. And I feel like today's cultural point of view, that show would be
Yes.
really awesome and it would be well received.
So, like Sisterhood of Traveling Pants.
I guess so. I do feel like they can go on adventures and be there for each other because they have developed a really good friendship. That would be a good ending for them.
I would love to see that too. Whose season is it? The next one, is it Eloise?
It's gonna be Francesca and Michaela. And
Ooh,
speaking of Francesca and Michaela, that's a controversy right there. I
Michaela
mean,
Michael, right?
according yes, according to me, it's not that big of a deal. Some of the views online are some sort of phobic. Whenever there's woman loving woman, that's received very different from when there's male loving male stories. Like Heated Rivalry was just the it show, not even like a week ago, and it's about two men loving each other. It's not that surprising, to be very honest.
Do you think it could be coming from people who are the biggest supporters of the books? They are so into the books that they are not even open to understanding creative freedom and other perspective.
You know what? If that is the case, the good news is they still do have the books.
Yes.
It's an opt-in thing. You have to press play. It's as easy as that, right? Like you watch so many shows, I have not watched half of them. You have not watched, but then the 90% of the shit I watch. it's not hard.
Yeah, no, I'm genuinely excited about part two because with all the hatred that I have for part one right now, I really hope it goes away in part two because who doesn't love a happy ending? And I know we are gonna get a happy ending, but I want the journey to that ending to be really interesting and nice as well.
I think it will be pleasant because we do know from the book Anthony is a huge supporter of Sophie, and he's gonna knock some sense into his brother, which is gonna be good to watch. Katie's gonna be back.
Oh, I love her.
We're gonna have the little Viscount. We're gonna have him on the show. That's gonna be pretty nice. And also, we really gonna see Sophie standing on her ground. I think that's gonna be really good. And we're gonna see lots of groveling. So I think overall, it is gonna be good. And obviously, side characters are also good. Speaking of another side character I want to talk about, which we haven't, is Eloise. What do you feel about her progress this season?
I don't see any.
Really?
What do you see?
I feel like she is genuinely started to actually accept her position in society. So far it's always felt her ideas were not grounded. This season I felt they were a little bit, not a huge change, but I felt like she was a little bit grounded. She was acknowledging other point of views, which for previous seasons she hasn't been doing. This season she was also respecting her mother's rules. So I think this is a start of it. Her story is gonna be starting a little bit, and 6 would be her season.
So you can.
What's one thing that would make you love part 2?
More screen time for Sophie.
Fair enough.
More substance. She already has substance. More time to show that substance on screen.
Mm-hmm.
I would love that. What about
Yeah.
you? Other than the yearning.
I think it's gonna be good anyway. I do feel like I'm just gonna go and rewatch some of the scenes I skipped in my room.
Great. So let's wrap up then. Thank you for listening, everyone. Hope, as heated as our discussion was, that's how spicy and heated second part of the season is.
Yeah, also, what did you think? Who do you like? Who do you hate? Who was your favorite character? Which moment was the most memorable for you? Tell us something. Give us tea.
And what are your predictions? Until then,
See you next time.
bye.